Hey everybody, I'm KK.
I'm Kristen.
And together we are
KK Crochet.
Welcome back to the channel. Today is a little bit different. Every time I get ready to do a video, I have to get comfortable. I should do that first, right? Oh well. Y'all are home folk family. It's okay. So here's the deal. Today we need to talk about something. It's kind of crochet related. Some of it is, and some of it's not. So we're just going to jump right in. This is all about the baby shower. And so by the time you see this, that will have passed, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the future. But we're going to talk about the things that I made for the baby shower, at least part of them. And so the first one we're going to show you is the diaper cakes. So Kristen has them on her phone because I'm talking to you on my phone so that you can see all that we did. So the first one is a cow because the theme was cows.
Let me see if I can show.
Yeah, that's cute.
There we go.
So
That's it.
all you do is take the diapers and roll them up and put rubber bands around them to hold them in place. And then you put a big rubber band around a bunch of them to make a grouping. And I bought ribbon from Temu, actually, or Temu, whatever, that place that is, it is like Holland cow. And so we were doing Holland cow and regular cows together. Regular cows, that doesn't say Holland cow and like the
Traditional black
and white cows, yeah. Holsteins, right? And so, and I did that, and then I had some pink gingham, like checkered pink and white that went around the center. I got the cow has a rattle in it, and then the little pink rose that you see on the cow's stomach there that's holding the cow actually to the diapers is a headband that came from Dollar Tree. So that's all that was. Very cheap, inexpensive. The ribbon around the cow's ear, again, Temu. Of course, diapers aren't cheap, but, you know, it is what it is. And then there's another one. And this says Daddy's Little Girl. And that is actually a part of an outfit that came from Temu. And the bottom has pants that have little deer heads on them or something like that. And then
the silhouette of a deer on
deer and then it has a little hat, like a nightcap kind of thing. And so that was a picture of an outfit that my son sent to me to tell me they were having a little girl. So before I knew what it was going to be, before they did the reveal, he sent me that picture and said, "Would you buy this for the baby?" And I said, "Does that mean it's a girl?" He said, "Yeah." So that's why I did that. So, but I made the bottom of that. It's tulle, and you can get that at Walmart. I bought a headband at Walmart. It's one of those stretchy ones. I had one I threw away. I should have shown you all. It's a stretchy headband. You all know what they're like. And you just run the tulle through it and tie it off like you do when you're doing fringe for a scarf. And you go all the way around it, and it makes that little tulle skirt for the bottom. Lots of glitter everywhere. Okay, so that was no crochet to those parts, but you can crochet the headband if you want to and make a tighter headband than what you get at the store to make the tulle skirt. And then the next thing I made was something I've made a couple of times before, but this time was the first time to make it for family. So I'll let Kristen show you. So this is, you can't really see it there, but that is bunker pants and fire boots and the hat that says FD for fire department. And that's her last name across the butt of the bunker pants. And so, yeah, that's an outfit I've made several times. I will say, every time you make it, I can't find the original one. Well, yeah, I do know where the original one is that I made. I was not happy. I'm talking about the video. I was not happy with I want to say production. That's not what I'm saying. What am I trying to say? With the process of creating that one in several ways. So I thought I'll try a new one this time, and I did, and it was by Right as Rain, and I'll put it down below. And so here's what normally happens. What normally happens is I make the pants. They're pretty foolproof. You really can't you can't mess up really creating a pair of pants for a baby, right? Because it's 2 legs and the butt. There's not a whole lot that you can mess up with that. There's not a whole lot that you can change about. I guess you could put different stitches or whatever. But I mean, in general, it's not real difficult. A leg, join them together. And or start at the top and work your way down and do the 2 legs. It's not real hard. None of it's hard, really, except for me. When it comes to doing boots or shoes or socks, booties, whatever, I really dislike it a lot. Kristen made some for Christmas extravaganza. You notice I said, Kristen made some. You didn't have a problem with it, did you? I have a real problem. I have a problem when it comes to working up the chain and back down the chain. I always get my numbers mixed up. I always confuse where I'm at. I think I always have big spaces in where the sole meets in the middle. And yours didn't have that, did it?
No.
Did you have to work up and back in a chain?
Yeah.
She has no words today.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah.
So I always have that problem. And I will say for this pattern, I did not really have that problem. I still lost my way a little bit, but that was on me. It's always me. Am I counting and trying to figure out my problem is going back down the chain and making sure I'm getting in the right stitches and not picking up like the back bump or something. So, but this time it worked out perfectly. The shoe came together and there were no gaps in the bottom. I was super, super happy. There might have been one where you initially started, but after that, there was not. And I was able to fill that in and pull it tight and it worked just fine. So, no problem. I was super ecstatic with this shoe up until a certain point. And I think that was when I got so high up on the boot, I realized it's been a while since I did it, so I'm kind of going off the cuff. But I believe that, I'm losing my voice too.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that once I got so far, I realized it was going to be way too tall for a newborn, which is what I needed. And this was supposed to be, I think, 0 to 3 months. So I wanted it to be, small. So I stopped. I want to say I stopped after 7 rows of the basic single crochet around that you did over and over and over. And then when I got to the point where she was doing, how you have on the boot, you have a little loop at the top where they pull their boots on, and there's a little gap there. When she started explaining that, somewhere along the way I got lost. And I went back and tried to figure it out. And my boot was not, you had to fold it in half and try to work your way from there. And my boot was not working up like hers. And the boots were the last thing I did, because guess why? Because I hate to do them, because I don't like the construction of a shoe. I just don't. And so I completely decided that they would be last, even though that's the first thing I think that she does in the video. And I was like, fast forward, we're not doing that. So I did it my way. Yep, I did an Elvis. Once I got to that point and I saw that what she was doing, the loops have to line up on the side of the boot in the middle so that, that's what it looks like so you can pull them on. Mine was not the way she was doing it. So I just did it my way. I went through and chained so many, or single crocheted so many, chained, connected on the other side, and went around and did it on the other side and just matched them up so that they were even, and then went back around and single crocheted across everything again, and I was done. I will have to say I'm not a very patient person when it comes to working on projects and things not working the way they're supposed to. I've seen people who will pull it back out and redo it again until they get it right. I'm not one of those people. I will pull it back out once. Once is all you get with me. I do it the first time. If I can't figure it out, I will do it a second time. Like, that's one retry, right? You do it the first time. If it doesn't work, I'll rip it out once and try again. And when it doesn't, I'm gone. What about you?
I will try it once. If it doesn't work, it sits in a bag until I get the gumption to do it again. And then the second time it doesn't work, I'm like, okay, this project's not for me.
Yeah. So I don't even do that. I try to fix it myself. And if that doesn't work, then it's not for me and it's done and we're going to unravel it. I think you have to give yourself permission to do that. You have to give yourself permission to say, this isn't for me. Maybe it will be later. And I've found that in a lot of times when you go back later, it works just fine. But you have to give yourself permission for the time being to say no. Right? So I did the shoes last. Well, I started with that so I could tell you that. Well, I started with the pants and told you they were nice. They worked out good. The only thing about the pants I didn't like is the way that you make the straps, then they have to be sewn on. And the ones I did before, you start the strap attached, like obviously everything's sewn on, but you attach the yarn to start the strap and anchor it down so that then you work from the pants up to make the strap and then back. And I like that better because then I feel like it's more secure. And when I sewed these on, I could tell a difference. Like I really sewed them on because I was afraid they'd come off. And I'm not happy with the way the seam looks, but it's okay. So then let's go to the hat. So I really struggled with talking about this pattern. I almost didn't link the pattern down below. I almost didn't tell you who the pattern was by. I have a really hard time being critical of anybody else because I don't create patterns. Like you guys have seen me make a few, but it's not something I put out. I give them to you all and say, here's what I did. If you want to do it, great. If you don't, great. But I have a real problem being critical, but I also have a real problem, a bigger problem, not being honest. So I'm going to be honest about this hat. And I'm going to be honest about this hat in general, not just this pattern. This hat is the worst hat to try and create for a child. It would be, it doesn't even matter if it wasn't for a child. This is the worst hat I have ever seen to try and create. And I wish I'd have brought Jackson here so you could see it. But you know what a fireman's hat looks like. It has the front that comes across their head here, and it has the shield. Of course, that's not on this. But then it has a shield in the back that sticks out. And the shield in the back is to help protect their neck, to keep them from having fire go down the back of their neck. They also wear a hood underneath their helmet that also goes down the back, that is to help to keep fire from going down the back of their neck. It has nothing to do with this outfit, but just so you know the construction when you see that back part of the hat, the helmet. The helmet also has those little ridges that come down across the top of it. And then it has the fire shield in the top, on the front, the little badge. So this hat is a ridiculous construction when it comes to crochet because we don't make things that look like that. I mean, it's not rounded necessarily. And then you've got to have all these different ridges, which, you know, we know front post, back post, double crochet makes ridges, but it's just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous when it comes to trying to figure it out. That being said, I applaud anybody who tries. And I will say I have never found one that I like. Never. And I've never found one that I could work start to finish without an issue. Ever. Never found a fire department hat or a fire helmet for a baby that I can work start to finish and not have a problem. It is a difficult hat to make. She tells you in the video that this hat is difficult, and it is. It is very difficult. However, I will say, I made it difficult. Well, as she was beginning to tell about the hat pattern, I was working it up. I was going along just fine. And then when we got to a certain point, I was trying to figure out where she was talking about how to make stitches, and the fact that you have to increase and include a front post double crochet or whatever it was in this, I can't remember, but a front post stitch makes it difficult. If you've ever made, I think it's a divine hat, don't you have to do that? You increase and use a front post at the same time. Mm-hmm. Then you know what I'm talking about. It's a pain in the behind. And so this is kind of like that. And I couldn't understand what she was saying, and I couldn't see well enough in the video to see where she was putting stitches. The two together did not click for me. They just did not. And so I had the same amount of stitches, and I had the same kind of pattern, but I did it different than she did. It's kind of like the difference between whether you put in 2 single crochets first to increase and then a single crochet in one, or 1 single crochet in one and 2 single crochets in the next to increase, except you're using post stitches. And so when you don't put them where she says to put them, your stuff doesn't line up right. So I had to go through, and I had already gotten through a round and made the ridges look like they were supposed to look. And then I went on to the next round and realized, no, she really did mean what I initially thought she might mean, but I didn't see it in the video done that way. So by that time my stitches were off, my count was off, Like I had the same count, but if I counted the way she did, my ridges would be in the wrong place. So I had to take it and rework it according to the pattern that I had made it. Same pattern, different count, the where you do things. I had to put things in different places. So that made it take longer. It made it more difficult. And it also made, as the hat went out, once you did that, then my stitches were going to be in the wrong place when she was telling where to do things. And then I had to go out and look at another hat, like several other hats, to make sure that I was placing the badge in the right spot, because I couldn't tell for sure. On hers, it looked like to me that I was putting it in the wrong spot, and I was. So I had to go, I don't know if she was putting it in the wrong spot or I just couldn't tell by her hat, like couldn't see real good how things were. The hat didn't turn out exactly how I would like it to be, but I fudged it enough till it worked. And I will say I'm still on the lookout for a fireman's hat that is for a baby that works up easily and works up correctly. In my mind, like the first time I go through it. And I'm not saying that's anybody else, but I'm just saying if you go to do this particular pattern, you may have issues, you know. And I also will say the letters, I'll have to figure out where I got the letters from. I think they were from Your Inspirations. And I have used their letter patterns before and done really well with them. But this time was the first time I usually do a W, a V, and a U for WVU, which is our college here. I don't think I've ever done any others, maybe an M or something, I don't know. And this time when I did the letters, I struggled. I had to do all the ones in our last name, and they are a varied lot of letters. And the R, the first time, I just threw it away yesterday. I thought, oh, I've already done that. But I wanted to show you all the mess that I made up at first. You really have to take your time and think through what they're telling you to do, because they're telling you to crochet and then come back and join somewhere. It just, you got to do a lot of turns and twists to make it work. So the second time I did it, it worked out right. All the others worked out right. You just have to slow down. I think I was in a hurry. And I did glue those on to the back side of that because I'm not about sewing all those down. It's basically for a photo prop anyway. It can be washed. It's fabric glue. I did have to go through 2 or 3 different, I used Aileen's not tacky glue, but fabric fusion. It did not work. And I have watched her shows for years and loved her products and never had any that didn't work, but it did not work. Like, I'm impatient, but it did not work after setting for hours. It tacked it on, but you could easily pull it right off. Once through the wash, it would come off. So I had to go get, what's it called?
Liquid stitch, I think.
Kristen went to one of our, to Rose's. To us, it's a local store, but I think that there are a few across the nation. And they had liquid stitch, and that worked very, very well.
It's also at Walmart. I've seen it.
I had to lay something on it heavy to make it lay down, and I had to let it set for several hours, but that's to be expected. But it did work. So I went through a couple. My next step was hot glue. I was done. It's a photo prop. I don't care. She's not going to wear, or like a Halloween outfit. She's not going to wear it more than once probably anyway. So, yeah. So that's the baby stuff. And, yeah, I'm sure that was more than you wanted to know. And it's never my intent to say anything bad about a designer. She gave detailed instruction and walked through each step on the video and did a great job. But she will tell you herself in the video that this hat is difficult. And it's difficult for everybody. It's not just her pattern, it's everybody's pattern. So if you have one you've made that you think is easy, I've done at least 2 or 3. I think the very first one I did, no, they were all messed up. I remember having problems with every single one of them. And you may say, well, that's me. No, it's this hat. It is a difficult hat to design. It is difficult to work up, and it's difficult to explain how they do things. I think now I could go back and redo that one the way that she did it and do it the way that I think she was trying to say to do it, and put the stitches in the right order and make my front post first and then put the extra stitch in, and it would work. I'm pretty sure that it would work that way. But I just need to go back and see, or vice versa, however I did it. One of the stitches needed to be first, and she put that one first, and I did not. And I just didn't understand what she's trying to say. So that's our baby update for all the stuff that for the baby shower. And by the time you see this, that will be over, but that's okay. And we will talk more about it in the future and let you know what's going on. And question of the day.
Are you more of a dog person or a cat person? Or neither?
Dog.
Dog.
Yeah, I'm a dog person. My mom was a cat person. I like cats, but I'm a dog person, definitely. So let us know down below. Are you a dog? Or are you a cat? Or are you both? Maybe you're an iguana. I like bearded dragons.
That's
So
random. An iguana?
I love iguanas. Maybe you're a bearded dragon. I love a bearded dragon. What's your favorite animal? You know, your favorite pet to have. Maybe you're not a dog or a cat person. Some people aren't either. It's okay. Don't forget to be kind because...
You don't know anybody else's journey.
Bye.
Bye.